Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Miz TV Total Football. Things are really starting to heat up for Benjamin Sesko, ladies and gentlemen. I feel sad, Newcastle fans. Once again, this is not going to be a pretty video for you lot because you went for a lot of people and it never happened. But the latest one you've been going for is Benjamin Sesko. And it seems like Man United have now entered the race. But the money itself could be a bit of an issue. We're going to talk about all of this in detail. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, Newcastle United, not again, you know. How many more players? João Pedro, Ekitike, Mbeumo, and the list goes on. I'm pretty sure I've missed out the goalkeeper, the Manchester City goalkeeper that recently went there. You ended up with Ramsdale ultimately. There's so many more players that I've missed out from this list. I know the list is long. And you guys have kept on getting rejected after rejected after rejected. And now the only signing that you guys have got is Anthony Elanga. Look, it's sad. I feel sad for your fan base because, you know, making it into the Champions League, winning the domestic cup, Carabao Cup last season after 70 years without a trophy. And this is the, you know, repayment from your club. Your club must be financially in a lot of trouble. And this is the latest case, ladies and gentlemen. Newcastle are getting bullied. They're getting bullied by Liverpool to give Isak over. They just can't seem to keep any of their top players. I'm pretty sure down the track, Anthony Gordon will leave. I'm sure Bruno Guimaraes will leave. But Isak is their prized asset who they would have, I'm pretty certain, would have planned this season with Isak in the Champions League, go as far as possible in the Premier League as well, be an important and a big club who are going to try and compete at the highest level. But Liverpool are literally manhandling them. Liverpool have got Newcastle by the scruff of the neck, shaking them about and saying, we're going to take your star man and you can't do anything about it. So what does Newcastle do? It seems like they're going to submit to that, and they've gone for Ekitike. They couldn't get it, and Liverpool ended up getting Ekitike as well, so more bullying from Liverpool. Then they've fixated their eyes on Benjamin Sesko. The striker market is getting thinner and thinner. Osimhen's gone to Galatasaray. Gyökeres has gone to Arsenal. Many other movements that have happened, so it's getting thinner and thinner. Benjamin Sesko's name is the last one that's available at the moment from, you know, in terms of so-called top strikers. Look, don't get me wrong. I think Benjamin Sesko is a very good striker, but I'm not completely convinced as yet. He may turn out to be a super hit in the Premier League. His skill set, his baseline skill set is good. He's technically gifted. He works hard. He's very strong aerially. He's got a bit of physicality about himself, but he's not the finished product. There's a lot of development that needs to happen. He's 22 years old. But ladies and gentlemen, Manchester United has come and swooped in on this, and it looks like the player now wants Man United, and the player is snubbing, once again, another player snubbing Newcastle Football Club. So let's have a look at the news first, coming from David Ornstein, Orny, who makes us all nice and horny, in this case, making Man United fans very horny. But I think the price is a bit of a problem. But then again, we'll have a look at the price. I think this is standard these days for a striker that is in demand in the market. So this is coming from David Ornstein. This is actually the latest one. Let's go to the absolute early one today. We got the news from David Ornstein. Manchester United prioritizing Benjamin Sesko if striker signed this summer. 22-year-old now preferred option for Man United, plus informal contact made with Red Bull Leipzig. Slovenia International also remains top target for Newcastle United. Newcastle pursuit continues. So now Man United are in the mix. I'm pretty certain the player will prefer Man United over Newcastle, simply because of, you know, Man United's heritage and history. I know that all of that is a little bit, you know, clouded at the moment, but nonetheless, Man United is Man United at the end of the day. So Man United have entered the race for Benjamin Sesko. Look, there is also another issue with Red Bull Leipzig potentially looking to sell Xavi Simons to Chelsea Football Club. Those of you follow me on the other side of the coin, where I talk about Chelsea, this will be interesting. If Sesko gets sold before Simons, Yeah, I'm not sure whether whether Red Bull Leipzig will lose Simmons as well. If they lose Sesko and Simmons, I think that really puts them in a difficult position moving into the next season. Where I believe Red Bull Leipzig, they'll be in Europe. I'm not sure exactly whether they're in Champions League or not. But correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. But I don't think they're gonna want to lose both those players. So that's another one interesting situation brewing there, to see whether Simmons leaves as well. Now, this is the latest from David Ornstein that literally dropped about an hour ago. Red Bull Leipzig asking price for Benjamin Sesko is 75 million guaranteed. 75 million. What's that? Approximately about 65 million pounds, something of that region. That is standard price these days for a striker that's in demand. Plus add-ons and percentage of future sale. Fee expectation communicated to suitors for 22-year-old Newcastle, Man United pursuing, but no agreements yet with Red Bull Leipzig or Slovenia forward. So look, 75 million euros guaranteed. Man United, I've seen some Man United fans be very, very upset. They're not happy with the price. I mean, what are you expecting? Like, what do you think Sesko was going to be worth? Like 50 million or something? No, Sesko is a decent player, man. He's a decent player. Look, he's not a finished product, as I said. There's a lot of development that needs to happen, but still a decent player. He's got experience at the highest level in the Champions League. He's been doing well for Leipzig. As I said, baseline skill set is very good. There's a lot you can work with, and he's a striker that's in demand. Arsenal, I'm still convinced Arteta wanted Sesko, and Arteta has been forced to take Gyökeres. Sesko, I think, is what Arteta really thinks how his football is going to be played, in terms of having Sesko up front. Gyökeres is not exactly how Arteta pictured how he wanted to play. Chelsea been linked with Benjamin Sesko for the longest period of time. I'm pretty sure Liverpool has been linked with him as well. And now we see Newcastle and Man United. So what did you expect? 65 million pounds plus add-ons. Let's say you get up to 70 million pounds in total, including add-ons, is what you're going to pay, man. This is the standard rate for a striker that's in demand. That's what you're going to pay. Look, maybe you can negotiate to about 60 million, but look, Man United, you need a striker. You're not going into next season with Højlund up front. And I know Xerxes has been doing well, but you need someone. You need someone. You need to bounce back. I think with Sesko, Mbeumo, and Cunha, that's a strong trio. I think Man United can really work with those trio, and someone like Ruben Amorim would like to, defend from the front, go and press and be intense, win the ball high up, and really box the opposition in. And you start all of that with your attackers. And I think someone like Sesko, along with Mbeumo and Cunha, would allow for that. Newcastle as well, they're desperate. Isak's going to go. Isak ain't staying with you guys anymore. He's wanting to leave. There's latest news in regards to Isak, which we'll cover in detail later on. But he's not looking to come back to Newcastle, and it seems like he's on basic wages at Newcastle. So you can understand. I think I saw last he was on 120,000, maybe 130,000, less than 150,000. You can understand why, Isak's wanting to leave. He's going to get a lot more money at Liverpool, and obviously Liverpool, once again, top club, heritage club, current Premier League champions, and they've done a madness this window. He probably looks at Liverpool and thinks that Liverpool are going to compete at all fronts, and he wants to go there. Newcastle, on the other hand, there's a lot of financial problems, seems like, and he doesn't want to stick around. So there's big demands for Benjamin Sesko. It'll be interesting to see where he ends up going. I too feel his mindset's probably towards Man United, and that's sad news for Newcastle, which means, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to end it in this way, someone, whether it's Man United, whether it's Newcastle, whether it's any other, football club, because there will be a domino effect, whether it's Aston Villa losing Ollie Watkins, someone will be desperate down the track to get the signature of Nicholas Jackson. Mark my words, Nicholas Jackson will not be a Chelsea player. He will leave somewhere, because there will be a domino effect. If Man United end up getting Sesko, which will mean Newcastle don't have a striker, so Newcastle could go for Nicholas Jackson. If Newcastle go for Sesko, then Man United have the option to go for Ollie Watkins or Nicholas Jackson. If they go for Ollie Watkins, then I'm pretty certain Aston Villa will go for Nicholas Jackson. So one way or another, I think Nicholas Jackson will be moved around in this domino effect. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts. Newcastle fans, once again, looks like another club is about to steal your target, and it seems to be the pattern this window. Smash up the like button, comment below, and let me know how you feel about the whole situation. Sesko, Man United fans, are you guys happy? Happy about the price? Newcastle fans, what's going on? Let me know in the comment section. Smash up the like button if you're here for the first time. Subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Till next time, take care. See ya.